So very good morning everyone. Sir audio రావట్లేదు. You are not able to hear my voice. You are not able to hear my voice. Not able, sir. Okay. So 23 members. Right. So let us start the section today's. So yesterday we discussed with cache memories. So yesterday we discussed with what actually the cache memory was, how much size, why this cache size should be very smaller, and why this become very speeder faster. So yesterday we are also discussed with locality references and mapping techniques. One of the mapping technique also we are discussed over there. And so within the localities, so we are going to be discussed with the temporary locality. Three ways we are going to be discussed. One is the temporary locality, means the data may be stored it temporarily only. It can't be store the data in permanently. Whenever the CPU are trying to access those data, they are going to be giving onto the CPU. That's the one. And the second one is spatial locality. So in this spatial locality, what happens means the nearest memory locations, the data may be fetches over there. So when using the spatial locality, the instructions or data may be near to the memory location. Those are going to be fetches over there. And the third one is whenever we need to be fetch the data linearly, so these sequential localities are used. So these are the three locality references, and come on to the mapping techniques. So how they are going to be mapped from main memory to cache. So in this we are already discussed direct mapping. So uh, in this direct mapping we are discussed with how the mapping is happens from my memory to cache memory. So here black 0 is map onto the line black 1, black 1. So black 0 is map onto the line 0 and block 1 is map onto the line 1. So like this 63 line is map onto this block 63 and block 64 is map onto the line 0 and block 65 is map onto the line 1. So this way, this way mapping is happens. So whenever the user try to accessing the information, so what happens in the sense, so there may be conflicts maybe occurs over here. So why mapping, whenever trying to mapping, why these conflicts are occurs means, so if the user is trying to accessing the data, so what happens, so user is trying to fetching the data of block 64. So this in this line 0, the cache having block 0 and block 64, another one is block 265. So here three blocks are mapped over here. That's why conflicts may be occurs. So this is the main disadvantage in direct mapping. So yesterday we finished that one, and today we are going to be discuss with fully associate mapping. So what actually the fully associate mapping? So in fully associate mapping, the cache is organized into a single cache set with multiple cache lines. A memory block can occupy any of the cache line. The cache organization can be formed as 1 into m row matrix. So here you can be observed over in this diagram clearly observe. So block 0 and block 1. So in direct mapping, what happens means each and every block may be associated with cache lines. So the user is trying to accessing one block, but entire blocks are mapped onto the cache. So that's the main disadvantages in direct mapping. So in associate mapping, here we are going to be saving uh, time to speed up. So in block 0 means యూజర్ అనేవాడు ఏదైనా రిక్వెస్ట్ అనేది క్వెరీ కానీ సెండ్ చేసినప్పుడు మెయిన్ మెమరీలో మొత్తం అన్ని బ్లాక్స్ అన్ని యూజ్ అయినవి జరుగుతుంది క్యాష్ మెమరీలో. సో అలాంటప్పుడు ఏమవుతుందంటే అయినా అన్ని బ్లాక్స్ యూజ్ చేయడం వల్ల యాక్సెస్ టైం అనేది ఎక్కువ అవుతుంది. సో ఏదైతే ఫ్రీక్వెంట్గా యూజ్ చేస్తున్నాడో ఫ్రీక్వెంట్గా రిక్వెస్ట్ రైట్ చేస్తున్నాడో ఆ బ్లాక్స్ మాత్రమే మనం యాక్సెస్ చేసుకోవాలి. సో అలాంటప్పుడు మనం ఏం చేయాలంటే అయినా ఇక్కడ డిజైనర్స్ ఏం చేశారంటే బ్లాక్ ఏదైతే అయినా ఎక్కువ యాక్సెసింగ్ అనేది జరుగుతుందో అలాంటి బ్లాక్స్ మాత్రమే క్యాషీలో స్టోర్ చేసుకోవాలనేసి డిజైనర్స్ అని డిఫైన్ చేశారన్నమాట. హియర్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు సీ దిస్ block 0. So frequently block 0 and block 1, these two are frequently used, and block some other block 1, block 0, these two are frequently used, some other blocks, and this block 4094 and block 4095, these blocks are frequently used. So what are the which block are frequently used, that's going to be stored in cache memory, then the access time is automatically speed up. And here entire lines are we are not going to be used. Why? Because only in cache accessing the frequent data going to be stored over here. That's the reason here cache may be speed up over here. So here line 0 and line 1, these two are stores frequently accessing blocks, and line 63 also accessing, and rest other lines are doesn't have any access. Clearly here observe rest other blocks are not mapped onto the cache memory, and cache is not mapping to the main memory. So these lines are free up. So if in case user get tries any other queries, these are automatically active and map onto the that's corresponding line. So this is the associate mapping, fully associate mapping. So here one of the example also given here, the same information. So block 0 and block 2, block 0 is don't have any access, means where the user not be trying to querying block 0, and block 1 is frequently trying to accessing. So that's going to be stored in slot 2, and block 1 and block 2 are frequently accessed, and block 4 and block 7 also frequently accessed. So these are only stored in here, and rest other leave it in cache, doesn't store that one. So that's the main advantage compared to direct mapping. So what's the main advantages here? So fully associate cache structure provides us flexibility of planning memory block in any of the cache lines, and hence full utilization of the cache. Full utilization of the cache. So the second advantage, the placement policy provides better cache hit rate. Better cache hit rate in the sense, so whenever the user is trying to accessing some data or instructions, the successful hit rate successfully hit means, so next session we are going to be discuss that one. The successful whatever read or write operations happens, that become, we call it as a hit. So hit rate also increases here over here. That's the main advantages in fully associate mapping. Another advantage, it offers flexibility of utilizing a wide variety of replacement algorithms if a cache is miss occurs. So if a cache is miss occurs, the user is trying to accessing a query from the main memory, but the cache is doesn't have the data. So what happens? Cache misses occurs. Already in previous class also I discussed with cache what is cache miss, cache hit, what is cache success or cache unsuccess. Also we already discussed this one. So again we are also discuss in later sections. We are also discuss this one. So the, and we need to be know the disadvantages. So what's the disadvantages in this one? The placement policy is slow as it takes time iterate through all the lines. This is one of the disadvantage. It becomes slower when it takes time to iterate through all the lines. The second disadvantage is the placement policy is power hungry as it has to iterate over entire cache set to locate a block. And third disadvantage is the most expensive of all methods due to high cost of associative comparison hardware. These are the main disadvantages in associate member, fully associate mapping. And the third one is set associate mapping. Compared to associate mapping, this is also same. Set associative also same, but there is a small difference in between of those one. A set associative cache can be imagined as a n into m matrix. That is, the cache is dividing into n sets, and each set contains m cache lines. A memory block is first mapped onto a set and then placed into any cache line of the set. So here we can be observe what happens in associate memories. So here they are going to be arranged. What are the frequently accessing blocks? Those are only stored in cache. In set association, what happens means those are same, but in this section, in set association, these two lines, they are going to be set become one set like this. So these cache lines are 64 cache lines. So totally sets 31 sets are there. 32 sets are there. So 64 lines, 32 sets are there. So whenever the user trying to accessing, first the cache going to be check the set. So within the set, the cache, what are the lines are there, that's going to be checking over there. And as you give the access or give the quickly access to the user. So here reduce time automatically, reduced the time automatically. Access time become speed up over here. So already I have to be said that one, what is hit, what is miss. So here you can see that read or write hit. What is actually the read or write hit? So the cache hit when you look something up in a cache and it was strong in, it was strong storing, sorry, and it was storing the item and it is able to satisfy the query. Just a second. I clearly explained that one. I am going to be taking, this is one of the CPU, and this one is a cache memory, and this one is a main memory. So I am going to be, the user going to be asking for this one, a query. So whenever the user is trying to access a query from the main memory, what happens? The CPU going to be check in cache memory. This become cache memory. So in this cache memory, the data is not present. Data is not present. So it's directly go for the main memory and ask and the cache may be check in which location that's going to be stored and stored into the cache memory. So if in case the user trying to, if in case the user trying to querying one program for looping, so that program may be available in cache, then quickly that's going to be given to the CPU and CPU displays onto the user. So here the access time is speed up over here. This become heat. This become heat. So what happens here? Here quickly we are getting the data. Whenever user trying to accessing a query, the CPU quickly give the information. Then we will get hit. If user is trying to get accessing the data, CPU doesn't have the data over in this cache memory, so it's go for the main memory and such as in which location that's going to be available. So that data going to be fetches into the cache memory and that's data going to giving to the CPU. This become miss happens. So if the CPU doesn't have the, if the cache doesn't have the data, then that's become a miss, cache miss. We call it as cache miss. If the data is available, that's become hit. So here you can be clearly observe. Here you have to see from main memory, whenever the user is trying to access from CPU and cache and main memory. Whenever the CPU trying to accessing the data from the cache, then it is available for the first attempt, cache hit. That's we call it as cache hit. And if CPU directly go for the main memory, then cache doesn't have the data, then directly CPU go for the main memory, then we call it as cache miss. So what is write through protocol? Write through protocol. Here you have to see this. We already know what is miss, what is hit. So the user is trying to give one query to the CPU, the main memory request. So here a main memory request happens. The request type is read or write, any one of the request. So then if it is for example, if it is a read request, the cache is going to be hit yes or no, means cache is having the data. If it is yes, cache is having the data directly, it's going to be written in the data to the user. If the cache doesn't have the data, and locate the cache block to the use and where exactly the block is available and read that block within the memory and give the return back to the user over here. If it is a write, so user is trying to write onto the memory, cache is user is trying to the write onto the memory. So cache is trying to check whether it is yes, our data is trying onto the block. So data is write onto the block. So that's data going to be write onto the lower memory, means internal memory, whatever the which memories we are going to be uses, the hard disks or internal memories. So this going to be deciding that one cache going to be give that information to the lower memory. If cache doesn't have the data, so doesn't directly go for the main memory and give that one. This is the write through protocol and write back protocol. Here what happens means, clearly you can observe the differences also I going to be explained, then you can clearly you can clearly get a clear picture about this one. The same way in write protocol also, here we can see this one. So when you trying to write difference, write back what, when you trying to write onto the cache memory, the cache and the main memory automatically updates simultaneously. That's going to be updates. So in write black, what happens means we are going to be write onto the cache memory. So in write block, we are going to be write onto the cache memory. The memory is automatically updates only when discarding the block is containing. So the second comparison can replace the data in cache and memory write through. In write through, we can replace the data in cache and memory. In write back, what happens? Write the data onto the cache, that become happens over here. So whenever trying to access the request, we perform a request onto the main memory. Yes, it is which request, that is read request or write request. So it's, if it is a read request, and go for the cache memory and check it, so that one, if it is available directly, it return the data. If it doesn't have the data, so it's go for the checking for the block. So if the block is available or not, then it's going to be fetches the data and return back to the data. So it's the same way write also happens over here. And cache variations. So here cache is two types. So here, this is one of the CPU. So within the CPU, we are having a processor, right? So within the processor also, having one of the cache memory also available. And this one of the cache memory, and this become memory, main memory. So if you use a trying to give one program, for looping program, so I'm giving a for looping program onto the CPU, then the program going to be executing into the CPU, then the CPU going to be give the information onto the processor. Within the processor, where exactly the within the processor where exactly the instructions are available, it's going to be check frequently, or looping statements going to be stored into the cache memory. That's going to be quickly get access into the CPU processor, and that's going to be performing over there. And if very less instructions means we are used very rare case, so then that's information not to be stored into the this in this cache. So where exactly that one going to be stored in this cache, that's going to be stored over here. Very less instructions we are trying to accessing that one information. So at that time the processor going to be ask for the cache over here, if the data is available or not. Then if it is available, directly give the access to the processor. If it is not available, and go and check the main memory, and that's going to be updating into the cache memory, and that's give it to the CPU, and finally that's going to be shared onto the user. There is a primary and secondary cache. Primary cache going to be available. It's going to be near to the processor, and secondary cache may be lied in between CPU and main memory. So here you can be observe the same information going to be given over here. The cache may be lied in between processor and main memory, and here the data may be transferred in blockwise and word-wise. In cache memory to main memory, it's going to be data transferred in blockwise, and CPU to cache, the data may be transferred in word-wise. So that's the main advantages in cache memories. So we already discussed why this become speed up and why this become slower. Random access memories, RAMs. Why RAMs are very slow compared to the cache. And here we can see the analysis from 1975 onwards. So in 1975 onwards, we are not use the cache memories. At that time, cache the designers are chip designers are never introduced that one in 1975. So only RAMs are used. So very slow and give the very less performance at that time. So in 1980s, 1985, in between 1980 and 1985, these caches are introduced. So at that time, system performance automatically increases. So here, how the performance going to be happens whenever hit and miss both are, we are going to be calculating, or the hit ratio become hit ratio equal to hit by hit plus miss. Hit successful, hit means successful, the data may be successfully get the fetches onto the cache memory, and miss data is not available into the cache memory, then we can call it as miss. So with this formula we will get the hit ratio, then we will get the performance of a cache. And here I also see this, the cache may be with cache algorithms, there may be different types of caches are introduced. So one of them is registers, TLB, L1 cache, L2 cache, virtual memory, buffer cache, disk cache, network buffer cache, buffer browser cache, web cache. So the system designers may be chip designers uses the algorithm and introduce these caches, different caches depending upon the user needs. And one more, the special type of cache memories in CPUs are trace cache, victim cache, multi-level caches. These are developed by IBM, and write collecting cache. These are the types are available in cache. These are newly these are use these are designed based upon the cache algorithms. These are going to be designed. So what happens? Only 20 members are come over. What happens to the rest others? Hmm? So today's section we are finish up this cache memories. Tomorrow we will discuss with the next topic. So do you have any queries? Then ask them. Do you have any queries? ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉంటే చాట్ బాక్స్లోకి వచ్చి మెసేజ్ చేయండి. I will give clear information for the మెటీరియల్ ఇవ్వండి సార్. మెటీరియల్ ఖచ్చితంగా ఇస్తాను. నేను దానికోసం ట్రై చేస్తూనే ఉన్నాను మెటీరియల్ అనేది. సో డే బై డే టాపిక్ అయితే ఇస్తున్నాను కదా. సో అలా విధంగానే మెటీరియల్ కూడా నేను క్లియర్గా ఇచ్చేస్తాను మొత్తం అంతా. ఎస్, సెకండ్ యూనిట్, థర్డ్ యూనిట్ మెటీరియల్స్ యూనిట్స్ అయితే ఇంకా పెట్టలేదు నేను. సెకండ్ యూనిట్, థర్డ్ యూనిట్ అనేది నేను ఇచ్చిన లింక్లో ఓన్లీ టాపిక్స్ మాత్రమే పెట్టాను. సో ఈరోజు టాపిక్ కూడా ఆల్రెడీ పెట్టేశాను, మీరు చెక్ చేయొచ్చు. సో నాకు మెసేజ్ చేశారు, సార్ డిఫికల్ట్గా ఉంది లింక్స్ అనేవి ఓపెన్ చేయడానికి అనేసి. సో నేను క్లియర్గా దాని గురించి కూడా నేను మీకు వీడియో అనేది క్రియేట్ చేసి పెడతాను. యూట్యూబ్లో మీరు ఒకసారి చూసాను, ఆ లింక్ అనేది ఎలా ఓపెన్ చేయాలనేది కూడా మీకు క్లియర్గా ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేయడం అనేది జరుగుతుంది. అది కూడా తెలుగులోనే, ఇంగ్లీష్లో అయితే కాదు. ఓకే, మొబైల్ ఎలా ఓపెన్ చేయాలి, ల్యాప్టాప్లో కానీ సిస్టంలో కానీ ఎలా ఓపెన్ చేయాలి లింక్స్ అనేవి నేను చూపిస్తాను. అవి యూట్యూబ్లో మీకు పోస్ట్ అనేది జరుగుతుంది. 21 మెంబర్స్. సో ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉన్నాయి మీకు? ఏమి ఈరోజు ఎంత లెస్? టుమారో రంజాన్ అనే. సో అడ్వాన్స్ రంజాన్ ఎవరన్నా ఉంటాయన్నా ముస్లిమ్స్? ఆల్రెడీ సౌదీ అరేబియాలో మూన్ అనేది కనపడినట్లుంది. సో అడ్వాన్స్ రంజాన్ ఫర్ యూ ఆల్, ఎవరైతే ముస్లిమ్స్ ఉంటే కనుక. దట్స్ వెరీ నైస్. డౌట్స్ అయితే ఏం లేవా మీకు? సో ఐ కెన్ స్టాప్ ద సెక్షన్ టుడే. ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ everyone. We will be meet on day after tomorrow, I think Saturday. Tomorrow may be holiday, I think, Ramjan. సౌదీ ఆల్రెడీ మూన్ కనపడినట్టుంది కదా, ఈరోజు రంజాన్ ఉన్నట్టుంది సౌదీలో. స్టాక్ మార్కెట్ కూడా ఈరోజు సెలవు ఇచ్చేసినారు. ఓకే, సో టుమారో రంజాన్, హ్యాపీ రంజాన్. We will meet on Saturday.